So when we talk about Brazil, we think about continental size, and it's a very rich country when we talk about culture. So we have a lot of small cultures inside a huge culture when we think about Brazil. So Latin countries have a lot of similarities, but they also have very strong personal identities.
Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into Notes of Design. Today we are celebrating a milestone achievement. Thanks to you, our incredible listeners, Notes of Design has been ranked as one of the top 6 design podcasts in Brazil on Apple Podcast charts. And what a better way to celebrate this milestone than with a first in Notes of Design history. Today we are joined by not one but 3 amazing guests from Latin America to explore the vibrant and diverse design landscape of the region. We will discuss the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities that are shaping the future of design in LATAM. Joining us, we have Rafael, a product experience professional passionate about arts and technology. For more than 15 years, he has been working in several advertising agencies, design offices, startups, and big companies such as Globo, Telecine, Warner Bros. Discovery, and iFood. Next up, we have Raul, with over 25 years of multidisciplinary experience in design, art direction, and illustration. As a seasoned creative leader and mentor known for delivering design excellence in healthcare digital product at Brazil's largest healthcare company, he leads a team of talented designers managing quality and standard across the company's full digital product ecosystem. Then we have Karina, aka Nina Talks, a design mentor and content creator with background in computer science from Brazil. She has won Apple Swift Student Challenge from 2017 to 2021 and also LinkedIn Top Voice Gen Z, TEDx speaker, and passionate about book awards and a lifelong learner. So let's get started and dive into today's exciting conversation on design landscape at LATAM. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning into Notes of Design. In this episode, we have a wonderful panel of guests with us. Hi Rafael, hi Karina, hi Raul. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, it's our pleasure to be here today.
Hey guys, it's an honor. It's a pleasure and an honor to be with you guys today.
Hey everyone, nice to be here, and let's talk about LATAM.
That's wonderful. What was your journey into design and how did you start? What are your tips to the beginners on starting their design journey?
Hi, I'm Karina. I'm mostly known as Nina because of my channel that is called Nina Talks. I'm a content creator for 5 years now, and I'm also UI UX design mentor here in Brazil. And I'm not from design. I've made a career shift from development to design. So I've graduated as a computer scientist, but during college, I found out about UX and fell in love with it and started to understand what I could do to make this career shift happen. So I was in an app development internship as an iOS developer, and I asked if I could participate more on the design task and all the rituals. So I started doing user experience research and everything and started to do all my app designs. So brainstorming sessions, user interviews, and I've also started consuming a lot of design content from various sources. So I started with books. Design for Everyday Things was my first book, and also podcasts and videos. And it was very important for me to start attending community events. So events like the Ladies That UX that have a lot of in a lot of places in the world, and the community here in Brazil is very strong. So I started to connect with wannabe designers like me and senior designers, and we know networking is really important. And during all this time, I started to develop my own personal projects. So after that, I applied to a lot of UX design internships, and Rafael, which is here, which is recording with us, gave me my first opportunity to work as a UX designer. So it's really great for me to be here with all of you today. And I guess my main tip is to not to get overwhelmed with all the content, all the stuff that is available for us to study. We need to start somewhere. So we learned from various sources like hearing this podcast, reading books, doing a lot of courses, free courses to start and put in practice. So respect to your own pace, but start as soon as you can if you want to become a UX designer.
Hey everyone, I'm Rafael, also speaking from Brazil, from Rio, my home city. It was an honor to hear from Karina, and she is star right now. So it's great to see her career. I also somehow made a career shift back in the days since I began to work in advertisement agencies as an art director. But really soon, I realized that I was more intent and willing to be part of problem-solving processes. And this led me to user experience positions and careers, something that we actually didn't name as UX like 15 years ago, to be really honest. After that, I spent more than a decade working on streaming services, developing solutions for cross-platform products and product portfolios. And recently, I somehow made another shift thinking about entering a different market with different KPIs, different goals, different dynamics, but always focused on digital products and journeys, user journeys. And I really think, just adding to what Karina brought, because she brought really good examples about being part of the community, study, making sure that you own your own careers, because this is your greatest assets. And even though it may sound harder in the beginning, it's really something that we all should take into consideration, and something that always helped myself, and I still do it. And I do it both ways, is to talk with people, to know people, to discuss about our user experience career that is also shifting somehow and merging and developing, but also making myself available for young designers and young professionals that really want to know more. And sometimes it's faster and has more impact to have meaningful conversations rather than enrolling in long-term courses or something like that, even though those are also important. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Hey everyone, my name is Raul. I'm also talking in Brazil. I'm graduated in design, graphic design actually. And like Rafael, most of my career was in advertising agencies. So I bring over 2 decades of experience in that field, and mostly with focus on digital solutions, almost from the beginning. This gave me a lot of craft baggage that I still carry with me today, but also it was there I started to questioning the way things were and became more interested in the business side of my clients. So in 2014, I started to work with startups and could be involved with several digital products, combining my design expertise with businesses, advertising and marketing skills. And since 2018, I've been at Redditor, which is the Brazil's biggest health company, as a head designer. Right now, my journey has been about nurturing a team ranging from designers, researchers, copywriters, and embedding the design discipline deep within the organizational fabric.
Thank you so much, Karina, Rafael, and Raul for joining us today. So let's get into today's episode, understanding the design landscape in LATAM. So how would you describe the current state of design industry in LATAM region?
I would describe our current landscape as we think we are in a better position than we are, to be pretty honest. But let me try to explain this really briefly. We have a very strong user experience community across LATAM. We have some places that are stronger than others, specifically Argentina, Colombia, Chile, Mexico, and Brazil. But the entire region actually has communities, events, groups, discussions, positions, which is also important, companies that care about this discipline. But if you think about the day-to-day, no matter in which company you are, of course, we have exceptions for every rule, but we are still somehow behind other disciplines as product and technology. Just to give 2 examples. Even though we have a strong community and a strong sense of what is our scope sometimes user experience designers and user experience groups doesn't actually fit the strategic position we are all meant to be. Part of our careers is also, and like how we just mentioned, to build this culture around design and users and move away from the team that do the craft and the product, like product design per se, even though this is part of user experience, and move to a more strategic position. This has been my personal challenge throughout my career, at least for the last 10 years or so, to nurture this culture in every company that I'm part of. And good news is that things are changing, but we are quite not there yet. But overall, user experience is in a good position, but we all know the ways that we need to take to make it even better in the region.
Yeah. Like Rafael, I also believe that Latin American market is still quite diverse. There's a wealth of talent and top-notch work out there. Yet we've got quite a bit of ground to cover in terms of discipline yet. One of the major issues is the significant gaps in education, I think, especially in areas that are far from big cities. There's a large number of people lacking formal training, and unfortunately, there are those who exploit this situation as well. At the end of the day, it boils down to the need for professionals in the market to look beyond just the hard skills, like Rafael said. We need the professionals that can adopt a holistic view that could include understanding business, including stakeholder management, communication, finance, maybe, and even more. And for majority in developing countries, this is almost like chasing a dream. While we see exceptionally high levels of professionalism and major urban centers, this standard normally can't be extended to other areas of the region, I think.
Thank you so much, Rafael and Raul. So, Karina, wanted to hear from you. How do you see the rich cultural heritage of LATAM influencing the design trends and practices in the region?
I believe the main influences on LATAM design are a blend of native and international elements. So when we talk about Brazil, we think about continental styles. And it's a very rich country when we talk about culture. So we have a lot of small cultures inside a huge culture when we think about Brazil. So Latin countries have a lot of similarities, but they also have very strong personal identities. So I believe some influences we have in common as Latin countries is first the indigenous influence, for example. So in Brazil, we have a very deep roots in the artistic traditions and styles of indigenous people, geometric patterns, the vibrant colors, the natural elements. And we also have the African culture very present here in Brazil, especially in music and art, and by extension, the aesthetic elements used in our design. But we also have a very big colonial influence. For example, here in Brazil, we talk about Portugal and other countries about Spain. These are just some of the influence we have here. There's a lot more. And all of this have a big impact when we talk about the digital experience we developed. So I believe all these Latin countries have a very unique and diverse way of blending all this influence over so many years and being able to create very, very incredible things in so many innovative ways. And we are a huge portion of the world, both as producers and as consumers. So it's amazing to see our work reaching so many places. To be here with you today in a podcast that reaches people all over the world. So I guess we are paving a path that is really important for us as Latin countries as we think about design trends and practices.
Thank you so much, Karina, for those wonderful insights. Rafael, wanted to hear, in what ways do you see collaboration within the design community in LATAM is contributing to the growth of industry? And can you share an example of a project that was deeply influenced by LATAM culture?
I guess user experience is all about collaboration. Just to make some steps back, and that's actually the discipline we constantly put even other teams altogether to break wicked problems into small problems and do the entire problem solving process until we are pretty sure and have tested a lot of hypotheses. So collaboration is key. And again, coming back to where are we as a community in Latin America? All this collaboration is also seen outside the big companies or startups or your corporate environments. This collaboration is also key to develop great events, to build diverse communities to discuss, to even be here recording a podcast, writing books, and everything in between. And something that is really, really unique is when you put different people together, meaning different cultures. And I had the chance to be part of 2 international expansion launches. 2.5 years ago, HBO Max in Latin America, and some months ago, Max, also in Latin America. And I can guarantee that the diversity in terms of culture, in terms of background, in terms of artistic thinking, problem-solving mechanisms and frameworks, everything built a stronger team, especially in terms of creativity, something that we didn't actually mention here today, but one big thing about Latin America is its creativity. Of course, based on everything that Karina just mentioned about our roots, but the design community, also the advertising community, those careers that are somehow tied to creativeness, great here. And not only in Brazil, Argentina is very known about their ways of working, and also some places like Colombia, Bolivia, Peru that has smaller communities because of the country extensions, but as creative as every other place. So if you put everyone in the same place, and I used to lead a team with people from Nicaragua, Colombia, Argentina, Miami, which somehow is an extension of Latin America, I have to say, we were able to collaboratively and together make greater things.
That's great. I agree so much that collaboration plays a crucial role when we think about the growth and the evolution of our industry. So I personally believe that it's impossible to develop amazing products and services without collaboration with people from different areas of expertise, life experiences, seniorities. So I can talk a little bit about my work at Apple Developer Academy here in Rio de Janeiro. It's a lab that we bring together students from undergraduate programs, not only computer science and design, because we believe that collaboration and plurality is the key to impactful products. So we have students from psychology, from advertising, from engineering, journalism, even neuroscience. And all this diverse background, they develop projects that are really breathtaking. Rafael has already been there, and our work is to help the students to become world-class developers. And when we say developers, we're not just saying programming, but just believe that we need much more than just programmers to create amazing products, and we need students from all the backgrounds possible, because I believe the future of the company is that all of them will become tech companies. So we need all these people to create solutions that solve real life problems. So we can just have in the table just programmers and designers. And we tackle problems that are very Latin here, like social issues, health, environment. Many of them are based on local cultures like NAP that brings the cultural of the northeast of Brazil. So it's very rich culturally, the apps that we develop here in our lab. So all the content we teach and all the solutions they build are designed to meet local needs, and build solutions for a continental country like Brazil is a very big challenge. So it's been a very great journey to be there with the students.
Thank you so much, Rafael and Karina, for sharing those wonderful insights. So Raul, how are the designers in LATAM addressing sustainability and social impact through their work? Can you share a few examples of design projects that has significant positive impact on the community?
Well, I think sustainability is being addressed as an important aspect of reasonable decisions once it's part of the new normal way of thinking. All companies should be committed, if not be committed yet, to it because they all depend on natural resources as well as human activity. But talking about social impacts and about the healthcare sector as an example where I'm deeply involved, here in Brazil, we've launched initiatives like Telesaúde SUS that broadened telemedicine access within the public health system. We have other programs like Virtual Doctor and Digital Health SUS that have provided remote appointments and follow-ups across various specialties in very complex areas of the country. This is incredibly significant for our highly complex system and for our country and continent, which exhibits wide diversity in terms of population and demographics. At Redditor, we also advancing towards the concept of the hospital of the future, that includes a network, both physical and digital delivery system platforms interconnected through digital data and intelligence systems in order to add together, to add great value to people's lives and to our society as a whole.
I also believe that here in LATAM, we often focus on creating products and solutions that address social challenges such as poverty, unemployment, social inequality, and access to education. So I participated of a project as my first time as a service designer with other amazing designers to rethink the experience of a museum here in Rio, which is the Museu do Amanhã, which means Museum of Tomorrow, which was built in a region called Cais do Valongo, which at least 500,000 slaves entered here in the 19th century. So we needed to understand a lot of the history and the cultural context of the place, to talk to the people that live nearby the museum, to understand their perceptions, their challenges, their point of view, so that we could rethink the experience of the museum inside and outside of it in a way that the locals could think that they belong that place, and also all the digital challenges on how people buy tickets, how people interact with all the displays available during their visit, and all the other points we needed to map and to address, which are things that we don't always think about when we think about a museum. So we need to take a lot in context. And the museum itself cares a lot about its sustainability and social impacts in the region. So we strongly took it in consideration during all the projects. So it was a very special product to me and very challenging one.
Thank you so much, Raul and Karina, for sharing those wonderful insights. So Rafael wanted to understand what is the state of design education in LATAM and how is it evolving to meet the industry needs? How do you think we can nurture and retain the design talent within this region?
These are actually great questions. As we just mentioned about that, we still need to somehow evolve in terms of design culture, in terms of design understanding, depending on the company and country that we are all in. We also need to evolve a little bit more about design education. And the reason behind that is that pretty much every design educational course, especially the ones in the academia, are still really focused on hard skills. The young designers get out of college knowing everything about Bauhaus and other schools and other kind of design dogmas and rules, and pretty much zero about how to put those in practice when they enter in the market and in companies and in their professional journeys. I really think those things might or need to be more balanced, even though we have some courses that have entrepreneurship, innovation, and other similar classes. Those are really misleading terms in a way, because we are still missing to teach and to make sure that young professionals know what to do by the time they join their professional adventures. Doesn't really matter the size of the company or the market or the way they choose to enroll in those opportunities. It's more about designers are also meant to solve problems that are tied to the business, to understand very straightforward items such as KPIs, goals, metrics that are tied to user behaviors are really important changes that we still need to do. There are a lot of things being done in that area, to be honest. And I foresee that in the next couple of years or pretty much in the next decade, things will change drastically, which will be good if we meet the balance between hard skills and soft skills, knowing the design basics, but also understanding a little bit better about the industry and what market really means in the end of the day. About the second question, the stronger the community and the stronger the culture around design is, the easier it gets to retain people, right? Especially the youngest generations that don't want to blindness follow leaders or people just because of their names or their achievements. They want to be part of something bigger. They want a purpose of being part of something. There are a lot of open positions in the region. Some are actually very interesting positions, and it's rare to see people stay more than 2-3 years in a single place. Personally, I think this is a good exercise, to be honest, because this keeps things changing and challenging, especially for the companies that need to do something to retain professionals the best way that they can. But I also personally and honestly see with happiness the possibility of going abroad, working, especially after the pandemics, pretty much working from your home, any place on earth. And this makes things, especially cultural things and ways of working, going back and forth and mixing everything that we didn't used to have like 5 years ago. So it's interesting to see those moves. And being a manager for so many time now made me feel and work with my teams to develop them to new adventures, even if it's not in the company that we are, to be honest. So I somehow nurtured this shifting, challenging, trying new things, especially on a remote workspace that we have nowadays.
Thank you so much, Rafael. So wanted to understand from all of you, since you come from diverse backgrounds and from diverse industries, what has been the most rewarding aspect of working in the design industry in LATAM? And how do you see the design landscape in LATAM influencing or being influenced by global design trends?
Well, for me, the most rewarding part is how it's aligning perfectly with my personal mission. Let me explain that better. Over the recent years, I've been focusing on synchronizing my aspiration with my professional life and being in a position where I can impact human health directly, especially considering my role in a network of 75 hospitals is incredibly motivating for me. So that it's the most rewarding part. And talking about how design landscape influences the global design trends, I like Rafael said, I think we've always been immensely influenced by global trends, especially those from America and Europe. However, we come from a background that is extremely generalist, which can be a disadvantage in certain aspects, but also a significant advantage because of our diversity. And it leads us to export highly unique professionals, especially creative professionals who impact the creative market in various ways. At the end of the day, it's end up being a very unique give and take situation for us.
The most rewarding thing by far is to know that everything that we do with people in our minds, and to validate hypotheses, to again, break very wicked problems into smaller ones, building hypotheses and validate with people. For me, it's the most rewarding and satisfaction thing that we can do. And this connects to if we positively impact and solve problems on real people's lives, we are also somehow impacting the business. This is for me like very, very clear and rewarding. As Raul said, we've been influenced by especially American design, culture, decisions, companies for so long that we still use tools that are all in English. We still use terms that are all in English, just thinking about agile, planning, grooming, retrospective. Everything is somehow, or most of the things are somehow in English. But the most beautiful thing is that for some years now, we are also impacted them back. Just think about Work & Co., which is probably the most amazing design bureau on earth, being led by Brazilian professionals. So we are little by little impacting back, which is awesome.
I agree with Rafael and how that building digital products and services for multicultural and diverse society that can truly drive social change is very rewarding to work with health, to work with education. Everything we do is very far from one-size-fits-all solutions. And so it's really rewarding to work with that. And I agree that we consume a lot of global design trends, especially from North America. But I also believe that LATAM is bringing a rich cultural perspective that emphasize a lot diversity and inclusion. These are two words that are very strong here in LATAM. And I guess we are bringing that to the global UX community, which is very valuable. We have still a lot of work to do, but we believe we are planting some seeds and being inside a lot of corporations worldwide, bringing everything we believe that is very important as professionals and as people.
Thank you so much, all of you, for sharing those wonderful insights. So, Raul, how are the government policies and initiatives in Latin countries supporting the growth of design industry?
This question it's a little difficult for me. I had to do a little research for this podcast because we don't have much advertisement about this kind of programs here. I discovered that here in Brazil we have a program called Design Export Program that offers financial support and export promotion services to design companies in order to help them to compete in the international markets. I discovered little programs in Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Peru, but seemed to me that was always very little. It seems that in general there is a growing recognition of the importance of the design in Latin American countries. However, I think there is still much more that governments can do to support this industry growth. We don't have great regulations, we don't have great investments, we don't have great or much advertisement about that. And so I think that have much more that governments can do.
Thank you so much, Raul. So, Karina, as we look forward the future, what do you hope to see in the evolution of design in LATAM?
I agree with Rafael. We mentioned that earlier about designs being more strategic and participating more in the business, showing that design plays a crucial role in the success of the companies, that when we sit at the table, we have a lot of things to add, but I also have some challenge that I think when we think about AI, for example, we have so many ethical challenges to tackle right now. I guess we'll have less certainty of what is being shown to the users since the experience we get even more personalized and individualized. So how we're gonna do all this mapping to make sure the experience that the users are having are as we develop, as we expect to be. I guess it will be not easy for us to work in this environment. So I guess it's important for us to look at this. But I also hope that all this advanced technology and artificial intelligence will have will help to tackle the accessibility issues that we don't address with so much importance as we needed to. So I saw last week that OpenAI launched a partnership with Be My Eyes. So I guess we are paving a path that is good, but also very, we need to take a step back and rethink what we are developing.
Thank you so much, Karina. So as we are at the conclusion part, wanted to understand, like, what are your 3 favorite books and people who inspire you the most from all of you?
This one is the hardest one, man. But let me try to break this wicked problem into smaller ones. I really like to be connected with real people somehow. So these guys here, Karina, Raul, a lot of other folks that we have on our as our contacts in the region are who inspired me the most by far. And this is true. I mean, I'm inspired each day by them. But I also love to hear and to see people that had been working on our careers and on our community for so long. People like Jared Spool, who has a way of no bullshit user experience somehow. I hate when we put our careers as a magical thing, because they are not. And someone that I was really impacted some years ago is Simon Sinek, mostly because his way of thinking. I don't really like his military ways of doing things, but the whole problem solving mentality, it's awesome. And more than that, other medium other than books are really important. This podcast is freaking amazing, and it's really, really important that you can see what you've been doing for some time and the impact that you are doing in your community and pretty much across the world. So I encourage people to listen to more podcasts, to read more articles, connect with more people and have more meaningful conversations. But yeah, I think real people are always the best people to talk and to be inspired by.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you. Real people, it's very inspiring. And we have amazing people here, not only in Brazil, but all the LATAM region. I have, especially because we talk about the youngest, I think we have to mention at least the regular media, like books. So I bring it's very difficult to choose that, but I think my recent experience was very inspired by the Making a Manager by Julie Zhu, because it's not only a simple and comprehensive guide to understanding the essence of design and management and leadership, but also because it offers practical bits of advice and strategies for anyone looking to improve their skills at all, especially for all designers, especially the young ones, to understand better the way the managers think. I think this book was very important to my recent experience with my youngest team here. So the second one is the decisive moment. The title is How the Brain Makes Up Its Mind. The book is by Jonah Lehrer. And I think the title talks for itself, but essentially the book brings us clear scientific explanation and practical tips that suggest that everyone's judgment can be improved or influenced. And aside of that, how we as a designers can leverage that. The third one is No Rules. It's a book written by the Netflix co-founder and delves into the company's unique culture. That said, it's to be what propelled the Netflix to success. But independent of whether this is true or not, I thought this book is very insightful about corporate culture in general. That is very important to my team too, because we are in a very traditional company and in very big company with more than 80,000 people. So it's very important to designers to understand deep about corporate culture in general.
I agree with Raul and Rafael about Julie Zero. I also love that book, and Rafael about Simon Sinek. I loved his books, and I'll bring other three. So I love to read The Power of Moments, which is from Chip and Dan Heath. Even though it's not focused on UX design, it talks about how to create extraordinary moments in our life and in our work. So I saw a lot of things in common with UX design. It was pretty nice to read. The second book is Personal Branding from Arthur Bender, which is in Portuguese. I guess there's no translation, but personal branding, there's a lot of other books about personal branding, which is a theme that I like a lot on how to position yourself, how to stand out in the crowd, which I think is really important. And it's been really important in my career. And the third book is Essentialism, which is very popular here in Brazil. I don't know if in other places it is, from Greg McKeown. I don't know how to speak his name, which talks about prioritization and how to stay true to your goals, to your values. It was also very important for me to reprioritize what I was working on, which were my focus. So these are three books that I recommend. I guess the most inspiring people for me are also the people that I work on my daily basis, my leadership, my peers, because they're the people that I talk to most, which I can learn a lot more than just from a video or from a book. So they are the most inspiring people for me. So
thank you so much, Rafael, Raul, and Karina, for sharing these wonderful recommendations. And thank you so much for sharing all these wonderful insights. Got to learn so much from you folks today. So we are looking forward to host you again in upcoming episodes. Thank you so much once again for all the great insights you have shared.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Thank you, Karina. Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you, guys. It was awesome.